If you want to work out without going out, well, an exercise bike could be your answer. They have tension settings that are like the gears on a road bike, so you can have what feels like an outdoor ride indoors. It also means you don't have to dodge any heavy traffic. Good idea. Riding an exercise bike might feel like covering old ground, but there are always goals to reach, like increasing fitness, even though the view can be a bit repetitive. Production starts with the bike frame. The parts are assembled within a welding fixture, including the handlebar and saddle posts, the housing for the flywheel, and other parts. The welding system is computerized. The fixture moves the parts into position as a robot welds the joints of the frames with dead-on accuracy. At the next station, a machine drives a cylinder into the handlebar and saddle posts to shape them to the correct profile. The welds are then polished with a wire brush. The next step is applying a black plastic finish to the metal. This process is called powder coating. The bearing for the pedal crank axle is inserted and tapped gently with a hammer to nudge it into place. A circuit board is attached to the base. This will control the resistance of the flywheel. The wiring is threaded through the hollow frame and out of the handlebar post. Holes are drilled in the saddlebar tubing for the post and for the adjustable locking screw. A temporary clamping lever is installed on the flywheel framework. This will be used to tighten the transmission belt later. The saddle is then installed. Then, using a hydraulic system, an axle and bearing are pressed into the center hole of the flywheel. A decal is stuck on. The flywheel is the heart of the bike. Made of cast iron, it weighs 18 kilograms, so it's heavy enough to stabilize the bike and even out the ride. The transmission belt is looped around the flywheel axle. Then the flywheel is mounted to the framework. Magnetic brakes are installed and wired to the bike's computer. They'll enable the rider to increase the resistance for a tougher ride. The pulley disc is assembled to the front of the bike. Then the other end of the transmission belt is looped around the pulley disc. The clamping lever is used to pull the belt tight. When it's at the correct tension, it will oscillate at a certain frequency, so the belt is strummed to measure the sound. After removing the clamp, the bike is placed in a test station. It spins the flywheel and applies resistance while a computer analyzes the bike's performance. The switches for increasing and decreasing resistance are then wired. The wiring is tucked into the hollows of the handlebars, with the switches protruding for easy access. The lower half of the resistance wiring is held up, and the wiring sleeve is installed on a bracket that sits between the handlebars. The bracket is screwed to the handlebar housing. Next, the wires are connected to the computer, and it's attached to the bracket. The computer is opened and the main power cable is plugged into the back. Then the computer's back panel is reinstalled. This completes the handlebar assembly. The transmission belt and electrical parts are placed in a plastic housing. The pedal crank is attached to the axle that's been installed in the pulley. Plastic caps are placed on the ends and tapped into place. The bike and handlebar assembly are packaged separately for transport. This exercise bike is now ready to ride. You might not travel very far, but you'll be well on the road to fitness.